Moldavite brought us together because both of us put ourselves on this fast-track journey of letting go of all the things that aren't us. And it draws the attention extremely intensely and high vibrationally to what is you. And let me tell you, Ruby is me. I am Ruby.
Yes.
Like with Ruby, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced in a relationship before. I'm not Nathan. Ever since I saw Ruby, I'm not Nathan anymore. I'm Nathan and Ruby.
Hell yeah.
We are a unit and literally perceive reality in that way. Ruby is a part of me, a critical part of me that is here and is part of my experience. But I never would have realized that if I continued burying my head in the sand and trying to be like other people. I brought a crystal, it's actually a tektite called Moldavite, into my life 3 years ago. And single-handedly, just from tuning into the energy of Moldavite, my entire life has just skyrocketed, and all the things that I wanted have made themselves known. And if they aren't here, the reason why has presented itself. And it's just an incredible, incredible energy to work with. But I gotta say, after all the things that I manifested and experienced from working with Moldavite and learned, the absolute best thing that has happened, 100%, no exaggeration, I'm never gonna change my mind about this, is that it has brought me and my soulmate, Ruby, together. So towards the end of the video, we're gonna talk about how we think that you can work with the Moldavite to manifest your soulmate too, as in the success things that happened for us that caused it to happen, and how the energy helps. But before that, I kind of tried my best to put myself in the position of somebody who maybe doesn't have their soulmate in their life right now, which is really our target audience for this video, and to just simply put myself in your position and ask, what would I have my biggest 2 questions be for 2 people who are claiming to be each other's soulmates, right? So here it is. We're gonna answer how we know that we're each other's soulmates, what it feels like to be together, what the difference is between like just any other relationship, and then we're gonna focus in on how the Moldavite actually helped us to manifest this. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit down here. We're actually, just for fun, I'll let you guys know and see, we're in Mount Shasta right now at a place called Heart Lake. It's frozen over from the snow, so you can't see, but it's literally shaped like a heart. And there's no more perfect place to do this than here.
It's beautiful.
And that's Mount Shasta, right off over there. So we're gonna sit down. I guess I'll sit right here, Rubeth. And firstly, let's go ahead and just bring in the relevance here. Moldavite brought us together. So
yeah, it did.
Here's the thing, quite literally, both of us were experiencing a lot of struggles and living our lives in a way that wasn't really resonant of us, and there was a lot of things we were carrying and we didn't really know how to achieve a success in our lives, and Moldavite helped us to tap into that and let go of those things. Not only is that the way that it brought us together, but literally, Moldavite is the reason that I am a YouTuber. It was so conscious and powerful, it wanted me to make YouTube videos about it. I never understood why, and of course I still can't be sure, but to me, it's because it was bringing me to literally my destiny, and it's to be with Ruby.
Yeah!
Because Ruby was interested in Moldavite too, and that's how she found me on YouTube, and that's how we met. And she was making Moldavite videos too. Like, how funny is that? So it quite literally brought us together. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. So how do we know that we're each other's soulmates? I've already done a lot of talking, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Ruby open up with this.
Okay, how do we know? It's hard. This is the thing that's hard to explain because it's not like one certain thing, you know? It's you just know. Like you hear your fucking grandparents and parents say, like, you just know. And I'm like, okay, like I understand that now, but it's you just know, and there's this there's absolutely undeniable connection. It's divine, it's amazing, and I think it's easy to tell. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say something, but then I forgot.
It's okay. I think what Ruby said is a really big point of it, and I'm just gonna kind of flesh it out and give some examples. The way that we know that we're soulmates, you just know.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not really helpful, but what I'm gonna do is relate back to my other relationships.
Yeah.
Every single relationship that I was in, I was always questioning, like I always had this feeling like, is this the right person? Or there was things I would try to convince myself that they were the right person. I just never was really sure. I was like, this is the person that I want to be with. But like there was always some part of me that kind of questioned whether there's someone else out there or whether it's really gonna work out or not. And from the moment I saw Ruby, literally the first time I saw her, ever, the first time I saw her, I messaged my best friend from high school, Lucas. I said, I know the exact person I'm gonna marry. Like it was just ultimate familiarity, okay? So that's the thing I wanna touch on. We just know, there's no question of like, oh, I think, or I want it to be. There's no energy of wanting it to be. There's no energy of thinking that it is. It's like, it's normal. The same way that my hair color is brown, the same way that I'm a guy, and I know those things for fact of reality, it's just the way it is. That is exactly what it feels like to be with Ruby. It's just the way it is. I didn't want her. I wasn't purposefully trying to create her.
Right.
She just all of a sudden was there, and I was like, holy shit. And both of us simultaneously, in the exact same moment, we felt that immediately from each other, that we just knew each other, like we've been together tons and tons of lives. And the comfortableness that I feel with Ruby, it is ridiculous, because I was actually in a relationship for 5 years, which I know a lot of people who've been married for like 20, 30 plus years out there. That is so amazing, you guys. So I know you'll be like, 5 years is nothing. And I feel you. I feel you that I don't really know. But for 5 years, that's a long time to me. I'm 24. And the thing is that the connection that I had with that person that I was with, she's an amazing person, like so freaking awesome. She's always gonna be a special part of my heart. But there was, in just a day of being with Ruby, more of a connection and familiarity and more of a resonance than ever. But here's the thing before I pass it back over to Ruby. When I was dating this person for 5 years, I thought she was my soulmate too. And I wanted to bring that up and let you guys know. Yeah. Because I really thought, but the energy behind it was that I really wanted it to be. And the relationship took effort. The relationship with her took effort and work, and I was never really my genuine self with her. I always kind of had to be trying to, please her, or trying to do things a certain way, or we'd have to try to get her on the same page as me. And with Ruby, we both just are literally our blanket slate selves all the time, 100%. It feels so familiar and so expanded to be together. And I could just keep going, and I will, but I want to let Ruby say, I think you have something that you wanted to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been in the same boat as Nathan has too. I thought people were my soulmates, right? But that's when you're in the energy of wanting to find your soulmate. It's funny because when you finally give that feeling up and you're fine with yourself, that's when they come, man. At least that's what happened for me.
Yeah, and that's the target of us talking about that part of the video, is aimed at being at the end. But, Ruby's absolutely right, because I completely gave up on love. Like, here's the thing. How about we stand up and go on a little stroll? Does that sound cool? Yeah, I think it'll be cool. You guys can see more view. I think I flow better when I'm walking anyways. If you want to come on. She's getting up. She's getting up. But the thing for me is I've been a romantic my whole life, and the number one thing I've always wanted is to have a connection. I always wanted to be with my romantic person. Now, here's part of the way that translated. Every single time a girl ever liked me, literally, anytime a girl liked me in school, anytime a girl liked me when I first got out of high school and was experiencing life, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, I like her too. You see what I'm saying? Like, I literally just hopped on board. Because this person was interested in me and liked me, I immediately liked them too and wanted to have a relationship, because that's how bad I wanted it. Now, I ended up having a pretty toxic relationship right before Ruby, and you guys don't really know about that one. I'm not even gonna talk about it or her, because it wouldn't be fair, is my personal opinion. You can't just use an audience and start hating on somebody. But basically, I was in a relationship that I didn't even realize was super toxic for like a month. And what ended up happening was after that, and after there was this kind of like betrayal in my own personal story and how that worked for me, I was not cool with it. And I was completely heartbroken and devastated, and I literally said for the first time in my life, I am not interested in love anymore. I was seriously done. I literally I didn't give up, I gave in. I said, I don't care. I'm just gonna do my work, focus on myself, focus on getting my YouTube channel going. It was my main focus at the time. And I completely gave up the pursuit. Following suit, there was all kinds of girls that liked me after that. A bunch of them. And maybe it's because there's this kind of magnetic energy that comes off of you when you're not looking for something outside of yourself like that. But all kinds of girls were interested in me. And at a certain point, I was having a certain kind of success with my YouTube channel that I had a handful of girls really throw themselves at me. And I'm not saying this to brag or be like, oh, hey, look at me.
Oh.
I'm just saying I was so not interested that it unfazed me completely. And when I saw Ruby, when I saw her, that was it. I was like, holy shit. And it happened, guess what? 2 days.
Literally.
Within 2 days of me really fully deciding inside myself that I'm not interested. And that's when our relationship started. So the truth is that we actually started as friends and cultivated our relationship for like 7 months or something like that before we even told each other that we were interested in each other. Like, because it just felt normal. It didn't feel like there was a need to. I never felt like, oh my God, I have to make this girl mine. I just felt like it was normal to talk to her in a way that I'd never felt from someone before. So this being said, I feel like this is a great segue to just cap off that first question with how do we know that we're soulmates? Look guys, let's be honest. We're humans, we're having a human experience. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Today you know this, a week from today, all of a sudden you're proved wrong. There's all kinds of stuff I thought I knew when I was a teenager. My dad was like, Nathan, no, and I was like, Dad, you're wrong. And now I'm 24, I'm like, holy shit, my dad was right. So we need to keep this in mind. And even that being said, with that kind of awareness, how do we know that we're soulmates? Guys, I literally bet all of my family's lives, my entire YouTube success, my dog, who is literally the obsession of my life. I love my dog so much. I bet all of their lives on this. For the rest of my life and all my other lives, somehow our energy is going to unite and be together through everything, no matter what.
100%.
And she feels the same way. How crazy is that? Have you ever been with someone that was absolutely unconditionally 100% certain? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a completely different energy than wanting to be with someone. I honestly don't want to be with Ruby. It doesn't feel that way at all. I just am with Ruby. Now, we did go through a huge period of separation that was absolutely devastating, and of course I wanted to be with her.
Very traumatic.
But I was absolutely certain that we would be together and that everything would work out.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty trippy things that happened too in my personal life that caused us to be able to be together that I didn't even foresee. Like, I was traveling around in my car and living out of my car while I was getting my YouTube channel going. I didn't want to work a job and drain all my energy into some kind of bullshit I didn't care about. I wanted to give everything myself to this because I really knew that it would work out. Now, I didn't have a way for us to be together. I literally was not making any money aside from people occasionally going through into my video's description and donating to like my GoFundMe collection for the videos. That's the only way I made money. There were times where I did not have food and I was just eating a can of beans every few days. There was a time when I literally sold all my guitars just so I could keep gassing my car. So that's the position I was in. Now, when Ruby and I connected, which mind you, I was still living in my car and not really having that much success on YouTube. So like, does that seem like an attractive person?
Yes.
To Ruby, apparently I was very attractive. But the point is that all of a sudden I saw her, I knew that we were gonna be together, and a whole portal opened up in front of me and I walked through it, and suddenly I was a success.
Yeah.
Suddenly I was making tons of money and I was able to have a van, which now we travel around in together. I honestly don't care. I could still be living in my car. That van is for us, and that's why it's here. So let me tell you something. The universe absolutely supports us 100% unconditionally. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we 100% unconditional about each other, and we're 100% certain in every single way possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an overwhelming knowing and an overwhelming feeling of certainty. That's a big word in our relationship because that's just the way it is. We are certain.
It doesn't feel like something that's way out here. It feels here, finally. because most relationships are us just projecting at each other. And I do not feel that at all with Ruby. There's no projection. There's no, oh my God, you're so amazing and you're on this pedestal.
Right.
She's just my freaking person. And I never worry when we're walking by and there's some hot shirtless guy walking by. I'm like, damn, that dude's shredded. I never have a single feeling of like fear or doubt. I never worry, you know, because it's just like absolute certainty. There is nothing that could separate us. I have full trust and faith in her. And it feels like we would never choose to not be together.
Yeah.
Like, I'm personally somebody that needs a lot of space, and I don't really like being around people, and I like to do my own thing. Very just kind of intense about doing my own thing and just meditating alone in the nature. And Ruby is the only person I've ever met in my entire life that I could literally be next to 24/7, even if I'm grumpy, even if I'm frustrated. And it feels normal, and it feels like I would never choose for her to not be there. Even when we have a disagreement or argument, yes, that's right. As soulmates, you can still have disagreements.
Yeah.
There's never a feeling of, or ever a slight thought of like, I don't want to be in this relationship, or is this right for me?
That's the difference.
It's absolute commitment and certainty that this is going to work out, and we're working it out together because it already is worked out, right? It's like, this is the person. It's just the way it is. In a lot of ways, to me, to be perfectly honest, a soulmate is an absolute 100% unconditional choice. And it's what both of us have done. We've unconditionally chosen each other. And I think that soulmate word is really just referring to that even on your higher level, your higher self, the higher dimensions, you've also chosen it.
Right.
And it's like a unification of energy. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about certain things that we felt in our experience that might be able to help you to tap into this energy too, to get your soulmate to come over to you. Because there are certain things that I remember happening that Ruby can say that have happened too, and it's pretty trippy. So we're gonna share that stuff with you guys to just help you and just be genuine and friendly about it. Again, we're not selling anything. It's just a really simple expression of what we think is what possibly helped us come together.
Right.
And we could be wrong, but we'll leave that up to you to see if it resonates. But we're gonna go ahead and take this video to the next little area over here. So choosing to bring Moldavite into my life is what I acknowledge as being the pivotal moment and shift that opened up this whole door of possibilities to me and tapped me into the energy that I personally feel like, from my human perspective, is just the massive reason that Ruby and I are together. Let alone all the other things too, but obviously we're gonna focus on this. If you wanna hear more about Moldavite manifestation, I'll tag my best Moldavite manifestation video below for you. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanna just briefly mention that, you know, Moldavite being this, for me, what is it about the energy? And I'm just gonna simply say it. When it comes to manifesting a relationship, like a soulmate relationship, which, whoa, excuse me, almost tripped over my dog, which is basically just a relationship that is like really fulfilling and it's like the one, okay? Let's take the woo-woo out of soulmate, let's take the mysticism at it and look at it for what it really is. It's a fulfilling, lasting relationship that feels absolutely certain with both people. And suddenly the relationship isn't work, it actually elevates your life in all the ways, right? So the reason for this, in my opinion about the Moldavite, is because you cannot attract, quote unquote, we'll use that word, you cannot attract the person that you will be with or the right person for your relationship when you aren't you yet, okay? So many of us are living our life and we think that we're being us, but really we're being somebody else. We're carrying other people's beliefs, other people's ideas. We're wearing the clothes that the mannequin is wearing and that that's famous is in the magazines wearing. We're talking a certain way from lingo that we've picked up from the people around us. We have certain beliefs about ourselves and who we are based on our family and previous experiences in life. So this is what I'm saying. Most of us are not really tapped into our genuine energy of who we really are yet. Now for me, I still am not 100% in the genuine flow of my being. This is just a feeling that I have. It's just something that I have the intuitive realization that I'm still on my journey here, right? So the thing about this is that we're still on that path, but we're tapped into, clearly, as I could say for myself and Ruby I know could say too, we're tapped into our genuine spark, the spark of who you are. And it's a hard feeling to describe, but this is what Moldavite is helping all of us to tap into. Totally. All right, so a lot of people talk about Moldavite as being for, you know, it's like shadow work, and it brings up a bunch of stuff in your life, right? It brings up a bunch of things. A lot of people are scared of it because, oh my God, it did this and all that. All that these things are is Moldavite is drawing our awareness to the aspects of ourself that isn't really who you are. And it can be uncomfortable because for most of our lives, our strategy is to bury our head in TV, drugs, and food. The snow's like really hard to walk in right now, so you get an epic adventure on the side. Most of us are just basically trying to distract ourselves and bury our heads in the sand. That's our method of coping, right? Moldavite does not let you distract yourself from the aspects that you're carrying that are not who you really are. So when somebody says, I got Moldavite and suddenly I hated my job and I hated my partner, don't get Moldavite, it's horrible. Yeah. Okay, let me tell you what's really happening here, okay? The Moldavite vibration, the way that this works, you were never meant to be with that person. You were never meant to be in that job. You've been unhappy the whole time, and you've probably just been lying to yourself and you become so good at it, okay? No offense, but it's just the way that it is with Moldavite. So Moldavite, the number one thing about it, why I really truly believe that this is what set me on my path to Ruby, is all of us are being someone else, so guess what? You attract a person and attract things that are resonant of you. The reason that most of your relationships aren't working out is probably because you aren't really your genuine self yet. So you're attracting people that are relevant of a fake version of you. Yeah. And it doesn't jive within something critical within you. And they're probably doing it too, right? If you're wearing lots of masks, you will probably be attracting lots of other people who are wearing lots of masks too. If you really want a relationship to fulfill you, then you're probably gonna attract somebody who's trying to do the same thing, and that's not really a genuine reason to be together, right? You're not trying to use each other as a distraction and to feel better about yourself. A soulmate connection is a totally different kind of partnership. It's something else entirely. So Moldavite helps us to let go of all these things that we are carrying so that we can start vibing as the real us. And when you start vibing as the real you, everything that is truly meant for you, you will realize it is right here, right now. And all the things that weren't here right now will all of a sudden be there. It's hard to explain, but it's really trippy. Do you have anything that you want to say about this, Ruby?
Yeah, I have to say about Moldavite, this Moldavite isn't like any other crystal or tektite, in my opinion, right? It's because we're not giving Moldavite all the reason that we're together. We're giving it to the universe and just the way it is. But Moldavite plays such a big role in that because it transformed us. It put us on the fast track to being our true selves and growing more and more into ourselves like that, in that way. Okay?
Wow, really well said. And I appreciate that a lot too.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to grab Moldavite, because again, you're seeking something outside of yourself and you want it to do all the work for you, you're gonna be attracting resonant type situations and relationships and things, right? People who are reaching for something to do everything for them. So it really is just this integral energy that has helped us to do, I guess what you could call do the work and let go of the things that were holding us back. Look, I figured out that the reason that I was entering like a new relationship every 2 or 3 months and was like super head over heels, super madly in love, like crazy fool love, just to all of a sudden have it all fall apart, whether on my end or theirs. I figured out from working with Moldavite and letting go of these energies that I was carrying a lot of addiction energy. And that is a whole other layer that I was able to dive into and realize that the reason that I was so addicted and trying to have all these things is because I wasn't truly comfortable with who I was. I felt I needed to be someone else. And look at the way that our society is. I mean, it's basically set up very well to have 99.9% of people feeling like they have to be someone else to make it in the world. Yeah. That's a whole other story, okay? So, Moldavite brought us together because both of us put ourselves on this fast track journey of letting go of all the things that aren't us. And it draws the attention extremely intensely and high vibrationally to what is you. And let me tell you, Ruby is me. I am Ruby. Yes. Like with Ruby, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced in a relationship before. I'm not Nathan. Ever since I saw Ruby, I'm not Nathan anymore. I'm Nathan and Ruby.
Hell yeah.
We are a unit and literally perceive reality in that way. Ruby is a part of me, a critical part of me that is here and is part of my experience. But I never would have realized that if I continued burying my head in the sand and trying to be like other people. Now, there's a lot of videos where people talk about how to get girls to like you or something, okay? I wanted a girl to like me so bad that I actually in high school paid for this program, for this course that this guy did that tells you how to get girls to be attracted to you and like you. And we sat there and we took notes and we were religious about it, and I did all these things, and guess what? It actually worked. All of a sudden I was a ladies' man. But guess what? It wasn't my genuine energy, because what I was dabbling in is little games of how to get someone to be interested in you, right? How to get someone to fall for you. How to not put too much importance or someone on a pedestal and make them want you, right? There's all these things that people say. Sure, that's a dynamic of how you can actually get someone to feel energetic attraction to you. But do you want to just be with someone out of just an energetic attraction that isn't actually genuine and it's part of this show that you have to spend effort on? Or would you rather be with someone that you literally just get to be you all of the time with zero effort, with zero energy going in other areas, and is just with you? Like,
Exactly.
you know, like,
And
I guess
let me tell you,
that's just your choice, you know?
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's much better than any other relationship when you're able to be completely yourself at all times. Am I holding it?
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to be funny by putting it in her face. Yeah, I agree. Now, the other thing, too, is that Moldavite has this synchronistic energy about it, and it starts synchronizing things. So this synchronicity brings a lot of people not only together in like a soulmate relationship, but to things that are actually what they're meant to be doing, or, you know, something that's like in alignment with the part that they're on, and their heart and mind are unified, and so their outer intention is bringing them to this, and the synchronicity is constantly validating you're on the right track, you're on the right track. Everybody gets all excited about the synchronicity numbers. Oh my God, I'm in a spiritual awakening, everything is going amazing. I saw a license plate, it says 1111. Moldavite has all this synchronicity to constantly let you know and feel within yourself, within your true heart of hearts, that something is for you. You just know. And it's not necessarily a super excited feeling, to be perfectly honest. It's not necessarily a super, oh my God, kind of feeling. Because if something's who you are, it's just who you are. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't carry any weight to it. It doesn't carry negative weight, and it doesn't carry positive weight. It just is. It's just who you are. It's not going to levitate you off the ground, and it's not going to bury you in the earth. You'll be right where you are, standing as you are, and you'll feel it. And that's what it's like to be with Ruby, and that's the energy that Moldavite has helped me to tap into. It's the energy of transformation. It's the energy of let go of all this bullshit you've been carrying. You don't want it anyways. You know, it can be scary to start on this path and start letting go of things that, I mean, it's scary because you're so attached and committed to a certain story and idea of yourself.
100%.
Like, it's freaking so scary to step out on that bridge. And I know most of you guys, you know, we can relate to we're going through this before family members or other friends or stuff in our life, and we haven't seen anybody else doing this. Sure, you can see people on the internet talking about it, but you haven't seen actual evidence in your life. I know I'm just a guy on the internet, but I want to tell you guys from my personal experience and the way that I see it playing out in other people's lives, not that I'm the judge and jury, but it seems pretty clear to me that you will be unconditionally supported in whatever you choose. If you want to choose to stay in a bunch of stuff that isn't resonant of you, you will be unconditionally supported. You can have that life. The moment you choose to step out and experience not all the things that you want, because that's not you. Wanting something, that's not your genuine expression of your resonance. It's not about wanting something. It's not about having all the things that you want. It's about having everything that you are. And it is an insane power. And with it, you can choose to have all the things that you want right now. But you'll realize when you're tapped into this flow, I know it sounds kind of like fortune cookie-ish, but when you tap into it and your awareness escalates, it becomes very clear that the way you get the things that you want in life, you just choose. You already have them all. They all already exist. You don't have to fight for any of it. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid to step out and do something new. You don't have to be afraid to do that. Just do it. All those fears are things that have been programmed into you. That's the bullshit that's not you. Moldavite, that's the vibration of let it the fuck go.
Yeah.
You know, and like 100%. Since bringing Moldavite into my life, sorry about that, camera battery died, new one in, good to go. So, since bringing Moldavite into my life, I now am with Ruby, which is the best of all of it. I'm literally in my favorite place in the world. You know, Mount Shasta, this is like my home. I would never choose to be anywhere other than this. I've been able to travel the world, go to Costa Rica, travel around all the United States, and I'm at a part now where I'm starting to realize that I can actually afford anything just by choosing to be someone who can afford it. I know that sounds strange, but it's a whole other part of the journey I'm on right now. But there's a lot of videos coming out about that. So if you're someone who struggles with financial abundance and abundance like this, definitely subscribe, because we've tapped into a really special flow right now, Ruby and I together. And everybody deserves to feel into this flow and hear about it. So definitely subscribe for that. But you know, Moldavite, it's freaking awesome. A soulmate connection like this, everybody deserves this. This is what you deserve. You just choose to be that version of yourself. And I hope that in this video, we were able to share some things that helped you to tap into that.
Let go of the importance, let go of the wanting. That's what everyone says, but it's so true.
Yes. So thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate being able to share this video with you and my friends. Second best part of everything that I manifested is the ability to be able to share like my truth and what I'm experiencing with people who really listen and just get it and are vibing like this too. There's a lot of people out there like this, guys. There's a lot of people out there. I'm grateful for the internet, so. All right, my friends. If any of you have any questions for Ruby and I, definitely let us know below. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking this video, and we'll see you for the next one. All right. See you later.